Welcome guys to the double header championship. This is the fourth championship we are going to participate in, and this one slightly a bit more interesting. So normal qualifying, whoever gets pole gets 1 point. First race will be 25% and then normal points from there, and then the sprint race with the entire grid is reversed, and then the points are distributed between first and I want to say 8th or 6th, but it's very similar to F2 if any of you guys watched that. But we are driving in the Haas car, and I figured if we're driving as the Haas, we might as well have a nice helmet. So on screen now, you can see is the helmet that we are using. It's more or less the same helmet that I normally use, just obviously changed up to fit the Haas car and the Haas sponsors. But not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool to be fair. It was alright. It was a bit of a pain, especially doing most of the car. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the championship. Championship should be fun. I'm not sure exactly how well we're going to do because this Haas did not feel good in qualifying at all. The Haas felt absolutely awful. But you never know. Hopefully we can actually make some progress in this car and this championship, and hopefully we can get off to a pretty solid start. We've got all 5 lights on, and almost instantly the lights go out, so we get caught unaware, as did Felipe Massa by the looks of it. We've got Sergio Perez just to our right. We're going to come into turn 1 in between 3 cars. We're going to accidentally push Massa wide as we get a warning from Perez. Massa comes back at us round the right hand. We're actually getting a legal overtake on Massa, so we'll let him back through. I'm pretty sure it's Fernando Alonso in the background who spun. So as it stands at the moment, Fernando Alonso will be on pole for the sprint race, but fair play to him. We're going to look down the inside of Felipe Massa, pick off as many positions as we can. This Haas car is very difficult to drive. The braking isn't that great. Traction definitely isn't that great, and just in general, it's not fantastic. But we've got the Williams of Felipe Massa still going after us here, and we're actually going to have to defend from him as you switch to the right hand side, and it's going to be very difficult to actually manage that and actually try and not lose the position out to him as we go down the back straight, sorry. So we're going to manage to do this, but it's going to be incredibly difficult as the Williams is obviously a monster in a straight line, and we don't want to lose too much time to the Red Bulls, but I think the Red Bulls will be a little bit out of our reach. So we'll come into the pit lane on the 6th lap of the Grand Prix. Go on to the soft tyres. Not been great, to be honest. It's been mediocre at best. Probably the worst car I've driven on this game so far, which is, the Renault's a lot better than the Haas by far. We block Alonso from overtaking us. Toro Rosso is much better, in my opinion, than this car. So, I miss my Toro Rosso at this point, but we're going to come through. We're going to get back up to P13? Yeah, P13. So, we're not really gaining anything. If anything, we're just kind of retaining what we was on. But as you can see, there are a few raindrops on the screen. It's going to be a bit difficult. There's a VSC because someone just stopped on the racetrack, so that's going to be difficult for us. We're going to get back into P7, which I'm pretty sure is where he was. So we're back up to our normal position. We've gained a little bit of time on Ricciardo, but because it's raining, we're going to try and take advantage of Ricciardo. I'm actually going to go down his inside, which is ridiculous to think that how much we've caught up to the Mercedes of, I believe that's Hamilton, I want to say, and Verstappen. So obviously in these conditions, we're not doing too bad. Like, we're actually gaining quite a bit of time. You can just see the traction that we have on Verstappen, and then Hamilton's not going exactly very fast either. So Hamilton's struggling a little bit in these conditions. And there's a second VSC. There's someone else out of the race as well. So we're going to follow Hamilton into the pit lane for the intermediate tyres. I think it's a crossover point, so I do think it's worth it. There's only a few laps left to go, but judging how badly everyone was struggling and everyone's spinning off, it kind of makes sense. But Hamilton's actually going to drive past his pit box, so I thought Hamilton was coming in for a change of tyres. That's why I followed him in. But it turns out he actually had a drive-through penalty. I'm pretty sure that was for the VSC. He was speeding under it or something stupid like that. The VSC is very, very tedious. I had a glitch the other day where the safety car picked up second place instead of first. So first went round, everyone else stopped, then overtook, but their delta was like minus 20 seconds, and you've only got 10 seconds to get your delta time back to normal. So it sucked really badly. But here we go again. We are chasing down Hamilton, who is still on the soft tyres. So we're seeing how well the soft tyres actually work on this damp surface compared to our intermediates. And intermediates look to be doing such a better job than Lewis Hamilton's soft tyres. So we're not doing too bad. We're making some good progress here. We're coming on to the final lap now. We're actually going to pass Kimi Räikkönen, who's in the pit lane. So we've moved up to a podium position. There was a yellow flag on the racetrack. There was a car that had spun, and I believe it was this man, Valtteri Bottas, who actually is going slow, and he is still on the soft compound. So this is essentially P2 for the taking right now. We're going to cruise around the outside of Bottas. We're not going to get Vettel. Vettel made the smart move and jumped to the intermediates. But Bottas is going to try and hold off Raikkonen, just to try and see if he can get any the last podium place. It's not going to work. Raikkonen is going to go past his Finnish compatriot, but we all crossed the line for a very solid P2. That really came out of nowhere. Bottas is still struggling in the background. I'm pretty sure he was going to hold off Verstappen, but fair play to Vettel actually making it work. But we did really well. I'm impressed with how well we did. I don't think we do that good in terms of just being consistent and actually in the wet. So it looks like in the wet we're pretty quick still, even in this Haas car. So we have a bit of an advantage on the AI in that department. But when it comes to like a dry race, it's going to be a real challenge because we don't have that much pace compared to them, which is kind of frustrating. But I guess in the end we can't really moan, because it could be a lot worse. Like it just could be. So yeah, so Vettel takes his first win of the championship. I'm not even sure how many wins Vettel's got at this point in the championship altogether, but nonetheless, Vettel obviously celebrated with his champagne. And see what the sprint race has. It's going to be Vettel starting from the back, then myself, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we're going to jump straight in to the sprint race. We're going to start in a lonely P19 right up the back, and hopefully trying to make as much ground as possible come this 5-lap race. Now we're going to get off to an alright start. Kimi gets off to a much better start than we do. Vettel even worse so than us. But it's going to get all very messy into turn 1, as you can see. We've got the Mercedes going somewhere, going to the back of Stroll. I'm not sure who that was facing the wrong way. I want to say it was a Mercedes, but I'm not 100% sure on who that was. Saying that both Mercedes were in front of me, so no idea who that was, but someone was indeed facing the wrong way. But we're going to try and stay behind Kimi Räikkönen and maybe make a move into the braking zone, and that we do. We kind of like this corner. We even think about going past Daniel Ricciardo. Now that could compromise us against Kimi in a few corners time, but luckily we kind of fend him off a little bit. We go really sideways through that corner, so I mean about the traction being awful. Kimi does not need a second invitation. He's going to go around or outside to the best of his abilities, and he's not going to get past us that easy. We're actually going to put up a fight with Kimi, but we're going to let him through just because we can't really fight him on there. The Ferrari's got such better traction than us, but that won't stop us from chucking our nose down his inside and maybe getting a switchback on Kimi coming around this long right-hander. But then again, like I said, the traction on the Ferraris is so much better than what we have. So it's going to be a long race if we're in between the two Ferraris. Now we know how Verstappen feels, but we're going to hopefully not have an incident with both of them. That would be very nice, especially if we're essentially their B team. But we'll come to the braking zone. Kimi does outbrake us a little bit. We go across the curb. Don't want to crash. I mean, we already missed a part of our front wing, which doesn't help. But coming up to a little bit later, we're coming on lap 3, and we are chasing down Stoffel Vandoorne. There's a little gap there. I'm going to poke our nose through and get past the Belgian driver, but he does stick his nose back up. So I kind of expected him just to give up, but fair play to Vandoorne, who actually attempted to stay in the fight. But Kimi goes around his outside as well. So it's such a frustrating race because I have some pace, but in some cases I don't have the rest of the any more pace to actually do this. So it's quite annoying because I do obviously want to fight with the Red Bulls, but I just can't outpace the Ferraris, which is really frustrating. Obviously I want to get past and actually fight you know, even get even some more points. But all I have to resort to is just absolutely dive bombing Kimi every time. He actually goes wide, and we're going to actually go past him as well. So again, we're battling with Kimi on and off. We're battling like it's the win in such a low position. It's really bad, if, in all honesty. But we know we had a good first race, which I guess is the good thing. Here comes Kimi again. He's going to go down our inside like a rocket. He's going to get a bit of a slide on, another bit of a slide, an even bigger slide. He's going to practically go sideways, but we end up correcting him to save him spinning round into turn 1. But here goes Vettel, who's actually going to try and make the exact same move, but this time Vettel actually does make it. So I'm going to try the same thing we did with Van Dorn, go down his inside and give him a little bit of space, which was a mistake because Vettel's obviously got much better traction than we do. Didn't quite think that one through, so we're going to have to resort to a good old dive bomb into the next braking zone. It worked on Kimi, so it should work on Sebastian. And lo and behold, it looks like it has. We'll give him a bit of a squeeze just to let him know that we aren't to be messed around with. But we've got the Sauber just ahead of us. Easy pickings, I'd want to say, but you know, if we've got 2 Ferraris behind us, it's not exactly going to be the easiest thing in the world. But Pascal Wehrlein is going to go very slow, Marcus Ericsson even, and we're just going to barge our way through because he's a Sauber, and you know, we're going to go incredibly wide. We're going to give the Ferrari an absolutely amazing run on us down the back straight. It's actually Kimi Räikkönen who's managed to get past the Sauber first. We're going to go in the braking zone. We're going to have to go the long way round of the Ferrari, but it's not going to work. Kimi's going to get the bad traction, so Kimi will beat us to the line for P13. I think that is. I'm not 100% sure. We'll take the bollard out just because we can. So that is the end of the sprint race, and it's time to see who actually won, because that's the one thing about these, is you never know who really won because it's always changing. But in fact, the winner was actually Romain Grosjean, because they are not celebrating for me in my P14. Yeah, let's go with that. So Grosjean obviously gets his second win in championship mode and first win of championship. Fernando Alonso obviously a podium, and I'm pretty sure it's Danny Kvyat who was also on the podium. So fair play to them boys, they did really solid. Marcus Ericsson all the way down, considering he's probably started in like the top 10. It's pretty embarrassing, to be honest. But yeah, Danny Kvyat and Fernando Alonso are on the podium, so back-to-back podiums and a win for the Haas team. So Haas are doing pretty solid so far. I think we're still second in the championship, but it's not too bad. Could be a lot worse. But anyway, this is going to be a weird championship. It's going to be a weird championship or weird commentary for me. I can already tell. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll let the guys wave goodbye, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.